got us a new case.
What? Oh, not this again. Remember the last time you got us a case? It was about a woman who thought her boyfriend was missing.
Oh.
Look, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the guy ran away from her. I mean, did you see her face?
Okay, that was just one time. This time I got us a legitimate case, bro.
A legitimate case.
You wanna know what it's about?
Tell me.
It's about the Nigerian people. They wanna know what happened to the government and how it got so bad.
Wow, like you're probably the only one that can make something that sounds so intriguing sound so horrifically boring. And besides, I had my fair share of politics back in high school.
If you insist, I'll go do this case by myself then.
Wait, hold on. Maybe, I'm free and stuff, so maybe I can do this with you?
Oh, you can now.
Yeah.
Well, come on then. Let's explore this case in politics.
God, you sound like my summer comparative teacher. So, how are we gonna do this?
The old-fashioned way. What better way to solve a case than with a board and a few thumbtacks? So what we need to jump into are the roots of the country, how everything began.
But what, are we gonna talk about the 9 constitutions? I mean, we know how much of a mumble jumble that is. I mean, seriously, one country, 9 constitutions.
Indeed, but that's unnecessary. We need to talk about the current government and its structure and how it's currently affecting the people.
Where do we start then? Oh, that's it. We should start by analyzing the government. Oh, right. You're a detective, not a politician. I'll take it from here. You should know that the government is a federal republic, just like the United States.
Just like the United States?
Yeah, just like the United States. Very similar. It has 3 branches of government. They divide it into 3 branches: the judicial, legislative, and executive. Now, moving on. We're going to talk about the legislative branch. Both houses, so there are 2 houses, both houses are the same. They have the same power. The upper house is the Senate, and the lower house is the House of Representatives. Now, both the lower and upper house make up the National Assembly. You getting this? Alright, so, and
So the National Assembly is just like, the Congress that we have?
basically, yeah. And they both have 4-year terms. Now it's about the political parties, alright? So, as we know now, there are 3 political parties. The People's Democratic Party has a liberal stance in its economic policies, and it maintains a conservative stance on certain socialist issues. Now, coming down to the next one is the All Nigeria's People's Party. Now, the APP is a right-wing conservative party with mass appeal. Right? The party draws its strength predominantly from northern Algeria, which is the Muslim part of Nigeria. And then the third one is the Action Congress. It's a parliamentary party.
I'll now talk about the legitimacy. So when it comes to legitimacy, Nigeria, sadly, it has none. Nigeria has low legitimacy and stability due to various counts of corruption. There's lack of effective rule of law and questionable control of the monopoly of violence within the state. Now, what builds on the fact that there is no low legitimacy, we need to talk about political culture. So what atmosphere does the politics have? So when it comes to political culture, there's a lot of patron clientelism within Nigeria. In exchange for the support, a president may grant to his clients a portion of the oil revenues. We know how prevalent oil is within Nigeria, and there is a lot of religious conflict. For example, Muslims generally support Sharia or religious law as a valid part of political authority. Christians, of course, disagree.
Now, I guess we're going to move on to its elections and how they work. So, elections.
I've heard that the elections are similar to, how they occur in our country, America.
Yeah, it definitely does. See, I'll show you how. So, election processes. So, the executive branch has a 2-ballot majority. But the thing is, over here there's a threshold of 25%. And you have to get that in 2/3 of the state in the first round. And then round 2 is a majority. So it's going to be like 2 people facing off against each other.
So you're saying in the first round there's multiple people running, and there's through a plurality election 2 people are selected, and then in round 2 there's a majority and whoever wins.
Yep, you got it. I'm talking about the legislative branch, right? So the House of Representatives is a single-member district, plurality, and it has 360 districts. Coming down to the Senate, it's a plurality member district, and it has 3 per state.
So that would say that because there are 36 states within Nigeria, that would mean there's around 109 senators?
Yep, that's true. Alright, so now going to the judicial branch and how they get their members. So the Supreme Court is appointed, like all these members are appointed by the president. The president recommends the National Judicial Council and confirms by the Senate. They have a 70-year term, so after they turn 70, they have to leave. It doesn't have more than 21 judges.
Wow, that's a considerable amount of judges. So now we're going to move on to Nigeria's economy.
Economy, you say?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have like the 21st largest economy in the world?
In fact, it does. Wow, it's very impressive. And we all wonder, why is this country failing so much if its economy is so big, as it is the largest in Africa? So the economy of Nigeria is a capitalist mixed economy and an emerging market. So as in a mixed economy, there are many businesses that the people have the right to run, but there's also a lot of businesses that the government controls. Nigeria's economy shifted from agricultural to oil, which accounts for 90% of its exports. Because the value of oil has dropped, Nigeria is currently in an economic recession. The country is so reliant on oil precisely because of its leaders. It hasn't diversified the economy, which is why the economy is suffering so much at this very moment. So, common policy issues. Currently, the country finds itself deeply in debt, and most of its people live in poverty. Tremendous oil revenues have disappeared into pockets of government officials, which is now also tying back to another source of corruption. These government officials, they are taking the money made from these oil reserves, rather than using it for public funding, for social expenditures, they are putting it into their own pockets. So now, because of the economy, let's look at how society suffers. So within Nigeria, there are various cleavages. It is home to 250 ethnic groups. There are Muslims in the north and Christians within the south. One of the main reasons why society is suffering so much is because of the Boko Haram, which is a radical fundamentalist group. They want to make their religion, or their perception of Islam, as the core of Nigeria, and they are using violence to do it. 180 million citizens within Nigeria, and at least around 120 million are below the poverty line. In this population pyramid, there are many more children than there are middle-aged and old people, which shows us that the dependency ratio within Nigeria is very, very high. So this statistic right here shows the intensification of poverty throughout the years. As you can see, 1980, the amount of people below the poverty line was around 20 million. The updated version in 2010 shows that the poverty line is over 110 million.
Man, these people are suffering so much.
Indeed they are. Now, as you can see, poverty may seem like the only problem, but the civil liberties and right and freedom are taken away or from the citizens through restrictions on LGBTQ rights and government corruption and Boko Haram violence. So all these factors are playing a big role. So who is reporting this to the people? Who is showing them what is going on within the government?
Well, actually, Huzaifa, it's the media. The media is actually doing a pretty good job reporting all of this. Let me show you. The media is most vibrant in Africa. All 36 states run at least one radio channel and one TV station. The media plays a big role due to various ethnicities and expressing different opinions and feelings. Hundreds of radio stations and TV networks are in Nigeria, and they're all broadcasting what's going on here. Now, as you can see so far, we've seen all these things connected. We should connect all of these things. We need social welfare for healthcare, for our education, and whatnot. When we look at statistics, the average literacy rate is only 59% of the population. And then we come to the average life expectancy. That's only 53 years old.
When we look at this board, we can see that everything is interconnected. The society, the media, the social welfare, the government, election, and economy of Nigeria, everything is connected to one thing, and that is corruption. Now we'll look at the sources of corruption. There's corruption within the judicial system. There's corruption within the police force. Wherever you look, there's corruption. Companies report bribes to the Supreme Court to favor their judgments. Judges are susceptible to bribery, and courts cannot even be relied on.
So this would be directly connected to the government, don't you say?
Exactly. And then comes the police. Almost all Nigerians believe the police is corrupt, making it the most corrupt institution within Nigeria. So now we'll look at the causes of this corruption. Because of the instability of the government, inter-terrorist groups like this arise. Boko Haram have attacked multiple media outlets. It prohibits Western education, and it has killed over 15,000 civilians, which is catastrophic in itself.
This is connected to the media and society. Boko Haram.
And there are even American companies such as Chevron and Shell that have been exploiting Nigerians. They have thousands of soldiers as private security forces that act like army within the Niger Delta. Every one of 3 children in Nigeria are child laborers. This is what this corruption has come to. This is what everything ties down to. This is the main cause of destruction within Nigeria. To rid of this is gonna take a lot. We have solved the case.
So everything is actually the culprit here, all leading down to corruption.